right, looking to see if we have anybody else in the waiting room. Need to open up my chat. And before we officially open the public hearings, we have the opportunity for public hearings tonight. General fund, wastewater fund, and water fund budget. So all three, general fund, wastewater, and water budgets. And suggestion was that I open the floor for the public hearings of all three at the same time. And with council's approval, I'd like to do that. So people can comment on.
Yes, that works for me.
Very good. People would be able to comment on one, or if they've got a comment that's relevant to all three, they can comment at the same time. Yeah. Sure, get the recording going. Oh, Katie's coming in. Rick left and he's coming back. Hang on a second. Ray, I'm going to mute you. I don't know when he dropped, but it was loud. And I'm finalizing, looking at Katie Silliman. Did I see you? There you are. I see you. If there's anybody that is here and would like to speak, Rick, I can see you. You're muted right there. You are. Rick, your microphone's on now. You there? All right, so if there's anybody present this evening that would like to speak regarding any of the public hearings for the general fund, wastewater, or water budgets, please message me. And if you raise your hand, I'll try to recognize you. It's a smaller group than last meeting, so I think I have everybody on the same screen. But if you are here to speak on any of the public hearings, please put your name in the chat. And now I will officially call the first public hearing open. And this is a public hearing.
I don't have any sound.
One is for the general fund budget, wastewater budget, and water budget. So the public hearing is officially open. Is there anybody present that would like to speak on any of the three budgets for the city? I'm going to leave the public hearing open for at least a minute, so we'll give some time in case somebody is trying to get to that point. Second call, is there anybody present that would like to speak regarding the city's 2021 proposed general fund budget, 2021 wastewater budget, or the 2021 water budget? And not seeing any in the comments. I don't see any hands raised either. So I'll make a third and final call. Is there anybody present that would like to speak regarding the city's general fund budget for 2021, the 2021 wastewater fund budget, or the 2021 water fund budget? Seeing and hearing none, I will call the hearing officially closed. And now I'd like to open a public hearing on a local law to permit the city to override the 2021 tax cap. Public hearing is officially open. Same rules apply. Looking for people that would like to speak on this topic to message me in the chat or raise their hand, visually or virtually. Second call, is there anybody present that would like to speak about the potential for a local law to permit the city to override the 2021 tax cap? And third and final call, is there anybody present that would like to speak regarding the city's potential to override the 2021 tax cap? This will require a local law. Hearing none come forward, seeing no hands raised, we will now call the public hearing officially closed. And with that, hang on 1 second. I'm going to mute all so we are, and you still have the opportunity to unmute yourselves. If you all can rise if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. And we do have the opportunity for people to unmute themselves. Members of council, remember that we got board reports here coming up soon. First up, opportunity for public comments. If there's anybody who would like to speak to council, please message me in the chat. And after public comments, an opportunity for ward reports. Seeing no one for public comments, we'll move on to ward reports. Counting up from Ward 1 through 8, starting with Kat McCarthy.
We've had some concerns in the first ward about folks driving a little too fast down West Main Street, especially coming off 281. So just a reminder to folks to mind the speed limit. And I want to thank the police department for moving the radar trailer over there. And we've also had a few concerns just about road conditions, but otherwise it's been fairly quiet. I additionally want to thank the folks who participated in the community read. We had a great group, some really good conversation, and yeah, we appreciate the participation. So,
very good. Second ward. I'm looking for Katie.
Sorry.
There you
go. It's been fairly quiet in the second ward. We have some ongoing code disputes between neighbors that our code department are helping with. One I found out about today, and so I'll be reaching out to code about that. Halloween came and went. I saw a lot of great festive decorations. I did not see a lot of trick-or-treaters, and for that I was grateful. While it was quiet on the hill, I understand that the police had to shut down at least 3 large parties. The largest was 250 people on Lincoln Avenue, and I so appreciate their actions, and am disappointed with the choices some people made to attend that party. I thank the university for their swift and serious reaction to that. And, you know, we're a university town. They're young people who apparently don't see the danger that their actions make cause for the rest of us. But we need to be patient and understand that they are still learning. And I think everybody's doing the best they can. So I'm grateful that that got nipped in the bud. And I hope that we, as they leave now for Thanksgiving and come back in the spring, that they come back more sober about the dangers that COVID presents. If not to them immediately, then to the community that they're in. So that's it for the second ward.
Very good. Third ward.
Yeah, I don't have too much, Mayor. I sort of echo Katie's, what she just said in terms of students. I don't think, for whatever reason, some of our students, I don't think they understand that they're living in a community just like the ones that they grew up in. And especially older folks have some real concerns with this COVID and those that have underlying conditions. And I don't think they really understand the role they play there. But I think most of them do. There just seems to be some that do not. So, and people really appreciative. I have several people comment they're appreciative of what we decided as far as political science are concerned. So I want to, thank everybody for that. And lastly, I just want to congratulate Kat and the other folks that organized that book read. I found it to be very informative, and I enjoyed the dialogue. And so, thanks for that, Kat. That's it in the third ward.
Thank you. Fourth ward.
There were a few concerns from people wondering about leaf pickup and a street lamp that's been out. Communicated those concerns to Nick Dovey, and all is taken care of. Like up on the hill, Saturday night came and went, and for the most part, it was very, very quiet throughout the fourth ward. I never even saw a trick-or-treater up here on Tompkins Street at all, which is good and bad. The good part is I get to eat all the candy. The bad part is I don't need to eat all the candy. A few calls from concerned people in the ward, again, like everybody else, about students. And most of them, I hate to say it, most of them are happy that it's going all online the rest of the semester. And most of them actually want them out. And I try to tone that down and try to quiet them by telling them that most everybody from the from the hill, from the students, really are good kids that do obey. But unfortunately, again, too, there's always some that don't. And they're kids. They're indestructible in their mind. But other than that, it's been quiet in the fourth.
Thank you. Fifth ward.
Have had several calls from neighbors who have concerns on their streets. Signage has disappeared and is causing traffic and parking problems, and special needs children who live in the area. Signage that's needed for those people. And other than that, it's been.
Okay, Jackie, if you've not already reached out to Public Works, if you can do so directly, and they'll be able to get right on that. And if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. Very good. Sixth ward.
He's still having some complaints on Clinton Ave. From Main Street all the way to Church, that section is pretty rough down there. And like I said, I spoke to Nick Dovey about that. And we're just waiting for the spring to get that fixed up. But it's pretty bad down there. So whoever did the construction, the company down there, I don't think did a too great of a job finishing it up. And I did have some conversations with Nick about that, but apparently we've already settled on doing it. So it's too late for that. That's it for the 6th.
Yeah, no, and it's timely because I can tell you that I believe at our next meeting we will have an update from Public Works and the engineering firm that's working on Clinton with a lot more information coming.
Great, thank you.
Hear more from them then. 7th ward.
Just a couple things. Obviously, we approved what happened when you put your leaves in the street rather than your curb. They'll end up back on your lawn, so they should have been there to begin with. Thanks for DPW putting them back where they belong before they get a chance to pick them up. They're awful busy. They're still trying to finish up a couple road projects. The second thing is the college. As much as we hate to see them leave, they got a good plan. They're testing everybody before they send them home. But we need to get our heads together, and I think we all should have them tested before they come back in the spring. I know they tried to do it to begin with. I knew they weren't going to be prepared as much as we thought they were going to be prepared, and obviously we've seen what happened. That's my biggest concern. I've had numerous phone calls and talked with a lot of people. We all know we need them in our community, and I want them to be in our community, and I want them to come back. But if they can do the testing to get them to go out, then I want to make sure they got the testing to bring them back. So we'll definitely, Brian, obviously the gentleman, unfortunately I'm terrible with names, but you know, he's done what he could. He's obviously not here on tonight's meeting, but something we should look into and address before the time comes, and it's going to come sooner than later. So, because I don't foresee the numbers going down. I hope they do, and I hope they do fast. So, other than that, that's it.
Agreed, and I can tell you that there are ongoing conversations, and we're talking about how to keep lines of communication open long before late January, whenever the students might return. And the word I use there is might. 8th Ward.
8th Ward. Halloween was very quiet this year. We only had one small group ring the doorbell. I guess everybody was following the CDC's guidelines regarding trick-or-treating this year. A lot of chatter regarding college students. I hate to be the last one to chime in on this, but 2 weeks ago Friday, we were over at a friend's house, and we watched them come off the hill in Groves. And as soon as they got to Tompkins Street, we figured that, wow, it's going to be a busy night downtown tonight. I mean, these were groves of 10, 15 students at a time, and they all had their cell phones on. And so I decided after we left our friend's house to take a swing down Main Street. It was vacant. They were all disappearing in these houses just off of Tompkins Street. You have the police focusing on the wrong end of town, I think. But other than that, the 8th Ward was very quiet since the last meeting.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Did you join them? Did you go into one of the houses?
If I had a hoodie on or something, I would have just kind of mingled in behind them and followed them around, but I think I'm a little old for that.
You were blended right in.
Yeah.
Before I do have a comment in the chat. This came up after we had started comments for a public comment. William Deisher, would you like to address council?
Yes, please.
There we go. The floor is yours.
All right, thanks. I just wanted to revisit the September 1st Common Council meeting, the night that the vote rescinded against the painting on the Back to Blue mural on Court Street. The revote not only included denying the mural, but covering the existing BLM mural. And 9 weeks later, the BLM mural has not been removed or painted over, and I was just curious, what are your plans on following through with getting it removed or painted over? And I'm expecting that all the Back to the blue curbs have been painted. Will they also be given the same time extension past April 1st? And then also real quick, I'd just like to add that it's the time of year for Toys for Tots donations. We've been handing out donations at local participating businesses around town. Mr. Bennett, if you have any assumptions regarding my motive for being involved in this activity like you did 2 weeks ago, please feel free to reach out, and I would love to explain that to you further. Thank you.
Very good. Well, as I know you know, personally was involved and active down on Main Street with getting as much of the mural up as we could. Basically, when we priced it out to see about having somebody come in and having a private company do it, got feedback from someone on council that it was too expensive. We talked about doing it in another manner, and anytime with paint, it was going to be a street closure for a couple hours. So myself and a couple of volunteers at different times went down, did a fair amount of power washing, and we got enough off that I would leave it to council, that if council thinks more should be done, to let me know. Otherwise, it is where it will be. Mayor's report in terms of the college. Tom, I was out 2 Fridays ago from about 9 p.m. to midnight and had the opportunity to identify some properties that were a little bit louder than others and definitely seemed to have some more gatherings. I can't say for sure if that's the same Friday that you were talking about, but I will say that the Vice President for Student Affairs of the college, Greg Scher, he and I paid a visit and reinforced with some people last week the importance of maintaining what has been prescribed with regard to how people are expected to behave. And heading into a holiday weekend, I do think that did have an impact. Obviously, as has been stated, not everybody has been adhering to what the expectations are, and it's unfortunate. And what's even more unfortunate, if you have not heard, Cortland County has experienced its first death due to COVID-19. So if we could just take a minute and pause and think about the impact that this is having in terms of some people who've gotten sick, have struggled, but now locally there's people who are grieving over the loss of a loved one. So we hope it does not happen again. And we've had some encouraging signs. The total number of cases rises, but the number of current cases is declining. So I believe we had a high of about 168 at one point, and the latest report, I believe, was under 100. It was in the 90s in terms of current cases. So we know that this impacts different people in different ways, but being a community that lives together, works together, and appreciates our neighbors, we need everybody to be concerned about all of our neighbors. And some of us here might be okay, but there's going to be people that may struggle or suffer worse than others from this virus. So we want to do what we're supposed to, not just for ourselves, but for every member of our community. As I mentioned, Troy, we are having conversations, and there's not a lot that has been squared away in terms of the spring semester for the college, but we are having those conversations, and we want to make sure that we are, as a community, well prepared. And the college has been a very willing partner in terms of those discussions. And in terms of leaf pickup, thank you for mentioning that as well. Even with the snow, we do have crews that are out, and they will be collecting leaves throughout the city. Please be patient, give them a week or two, because we typically end up a little farther behind than people anticipate where they think we should be. But for our crews to do the job well and to get every place in the city, there's going to be a lot that is put out by the curb. So we need to give them the time and the opportunity to do so. And also, if you do have leaves out front, please don't park your car in front of the leaves. It's going to make it more difficult for them to get picked up. And yes, that was an issue, and it probably wasn't the resident. But if you see leaves out by the street, if you can avoid parking in front of the piles, that would be preferable, at least up until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. After 3, you can park.
Ryan, one quick thing on that also, just to remind people that they need to be in a recycling bag if you're going to bag them, not a garbage bag or a black bag, because they're all over town and they're not going to pick them up. I see them drive right by them because it's not, they can't put them through the mulchers. So I meant to bring that up earlier and I forgot, sorry.
Yes, thank you. So those bags, you're talking about the ones that look like very large paper bags, correct?
Correct. They will pick them up in them, but they will not pick them up if they're in a black, heavy-duty garbage bag.
Very good. Yep, thank you.
I see them throw them right back on somebody's yard the other day.
Oh boy.
I took them out of the street, of course.
Well, I'm surprised that I haven't gotten a call in the office about that.
I can take care of a lot of your stuff, brother.
I do appreciate that. Thank you, Troy. So, I did ask council, I sent an email earlier, like to schedule a potential, a council meeting, and the goal would be to have an executive session. Like to catch council up on labor negotiations and a personnel matter. And instead of doing it at the end of the meeting, I'd like to schedule a time. Council, do we have availability Thursday afternoon?
Yes.
Fine with me.
I'm okay.
How early can we go? 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock? What are we looking at?
I have a meeting until 4:30 at work.
Okay. Do I hear 4:45?
That's good.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock?
5.
Okay,
It's not an option here.
Going once, going twice.
All right, so 5 o'clock on Thursday. We do not anticipate any action afterwards. What we will do is we will log into the meeting, same as what we did tonight. We will adjourn into executive session. If members of the media or people from the public would like to attend, you can, but you are unfortunately not allowed to sit in on the executive session. We will adjourn to a room for executive session and then come out of executive session and close the meeting. This is simply for myself and the city attorney to update council on a couple of things. So we are looking at 5 p.m. Thursday, and we'll put out notice.
Put the date in there, please.
November 5th. 5 p.m. November 5th. And I'm going to read a proclamation for Extra Mile Day. So whereas, in the city of Cortland, we are a community that acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire city when our individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in terms of personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And we encourage people to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly with effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and neighbors. And we choose to shine a light on and celebrate organizations and people who do go the extra mile to make this difference and lift up other members of the community and the community as a whole. So we acknowledge the mission of Extra Mile America, which is to create 500 extra mile cities in America, and is proud to support Extra Mile Day, which was November 1st of 2020. So therefore I, Mayor of City of Cortland, do hereby proclaim November 1st to be Extra Mile Day. And even though the day has passed, I urge everybody in the community to take time to not only go the extra mile in your own life, but acknowledge those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, neighborhood, country, or world a better place. And I think this fits in well with what we've talked about from Cortland Forward in a mission of encouraging empathy between people in our community. Highly encourage everybody, take some time tomorrow, reach out to a friend, a neighbor who has done something good, and thank them for going the extra mile. Minutes from our last meeting. Do I have a motion to consider the minutes? John Bennett, second. Bill Carpenter, discussion. Any concerns regarding the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of filing the minutes as is, remember you need to turn the microphones on, council, and give us a wave as well, please. All those in favor, please say and wave aye.
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 All right, any opposed? Carries 8-0. We have everybody present. That goes officially on the recording. Agenda item number 1, consideration of a resolution to approve a subordination request for a property assisted under the city's housing rehab program to facilitate a mortgage refinance pursuant to recommendation from the city's loan review committee. Motion to consider. Troy, second. Jackie, discussion. Linda Armstrong is here and she can give details if there are specific questions. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carries 8-0.
Thank you.
Good night, Linda.
Good night.
All right. Number 2, and I think I need to fill in the numbers here if you have the same agenda that I do. Resolution to authorize the fire department to purchase 1,000 combination smoke and carbon monoxide detectors and 12 ADA compliant smoke detectors from Skyline Electric for a total purchase price of $31,832 as procured through sealed bids that were due October 30th. 95% of the purchase will be covered by a fire prevention and safety grant, and the balance covered by a donation from CP Cash and Carry. Motion to consider. John Bennett, second. Katie Stilleman, discussion. And Captain Tenkate is here if there are questions.
I don't have any questions, but thanks, Mike, for all the work you put into this. It's appreciated.
Yes, and thank you to Cash and Carry.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you need help putting them up, let's get a committee, Mike, unless you guys can handle it all.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Any further?
It's listed in the last go around in the 8th Ward when they were installed.
And sooner than later, because you know what happens at Christmas time, we always seem to lose somebody across the country.
A lot of the ones that we installed last time around are getting towards the end of their lifespan, and we've had a lot of interest in replacing those, so this is well timed.
Good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Well, we're going to move forward with buying some and echoing everybody's sentiments. Thank you and good luck. That's a lot of carbon monoxide and smoke detectors to install. And don't go too far because I believe since we have you here, Captain Tenkate, John, we have an addition to the agenda. Who am I calling on here?
Well, I guess you're calling on me.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you want me to, if you ask for it to be added, then I can read it.
Yes, if we could please add a resolution.
All right, so the resolution. Resolution to consider the purchase of new software for the codes department that is called Municity for a purchase price of $21,250. Motion by John Bennett. Do we have a second? Bill Carpenter, discussion. And Captain Tenkate, if you can give a quick.
The first thing is a correction that $21,150 is the annual cost. The first year cost is going to be $80,605. But 90% of that will be covered under a shared services grant. This is through the code program, which is a shared services program between code departments and cities throughout New York State to help prevent urban blight. The big thing for us is access to Municity. This is the best and really gold standard of code development and code tracking programs. This is the one that we wanted when we originally went to a computer-based system, and that we've wanted every time since and just never been able to afford. This grant allows us to afford it. It'll make us more efficient, and it's definitely the best program out there.
Thank you, and I did see I missed that farther up in the paragraph. So I'm going to ask for a motion to amend the resolution. Resolution to purchase Municity for initial cost of, and I have $81,650 here. Captain, I think that might have been different than the number that you had.
Yes, your number is correct. I was looking at an old quote there.
Okay, so that's the first year, and then an annual cost, let's just say not to exceed $22,000, which rounds it up. Motion to consider amending the resolution. Bill Carpenter, second. Bruce, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Very good. So the resolution has been amended. Any questions or concerns for the captain?
Thank you very much for your time.
Very good. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries 8-0. And two more agenda items. Next one, resolution to permit, local law, consideration of resolution to pass a local law to permit the city of Cortland to override the 2021 tax cap. Rick, how'd I do? Hopefully it passes legal muster. Motion to consider. John Bennett, second. Katie Silliman, discussion. So, as a point of reference, currently the proposed budget does not require us to go over the tax cap. However, if, as we're proceeding through the budget process over the next 2 months, if there is a need to go higher than the tax cap, we have to have a local law that allows us to go over the tax cap. And it is a process. So this is, for those of you from the general public or who may not understand, this is a step in the process. It does not mean that we will necessarily go over, but out of an overabundance of caution and jurisprudence, this will give us the opportunity if we should need to. So any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed? Motion carries 8-0. And the last bit of information that we wanted to include, so talking about COVID-19, and this is a standing agenda item, as we all know. If you did not hear, the information was released on Sunday with regard to SUNY Cortland, and they are going to be studying remotely for the rest of the semester. And what that means is in 3 weeks, when Thanksgiving hits, and the students typically would have gone to their hometowns for the holiday, they were going to stay home after the holiday. Now they are going to be work remotely for those 3 weeks after the holiday. Now they are going to be working remotely for the rest of the fall semester. And on top of that, the college has given them the okay to go back to their hometowns sooner if they so choose. And if you take a drive down by the 281 parking lot, you'll see that there is a severe lack of cars in the parking lot, which to me indicates that there's already a fair number of students who have made that choice and may no longer be residing in Cortland. Good news is that the chancellor has required that when students go home, within 10 days before they depart, they need to have a valid COVID-19 test that tests negative. So that means that students leaving from SUNY Cortland need to be tested before they go home. So what does that do for us here? People ask. Well, in case you are unaware, there are people from Cortland that go to colleges in other parts of the state, outside of the state, and some of these people from Cortland are attending SUNY institutions. Before they return, they will also be mandated, if they're at a SUNY institution, to have a valid COVID-19 test from 10 days, within 10 days of their planned departure. So while the students leaving SUNY Cortland having the test will benefit their home communities, the students from any of the other 63 SUNY institutions who may be returning back to our community will also benefit our community by them having those tests. So it will work both ways. It will help us. As I mentioned earlier, caseload has decreased. I believe it's fair to say that we've seen the top of, if you want to call it the wave or the hill, and we were up over 160, but we are back down under 100 cases, and we hope that the trend continues. But we do need people to continue to make sure that they are doing their part. And I appreciate the calls. I thank people who have called or emailed my office if you've gotten a hold of us. There's been some messaging through social media, but when people have identified places that are of concern, we've responded. And I think most people, when we sit down and have a conversation with them, understand that, yeah, this applies to you as well. That sometimes maybe they just didn't really hear it, but no, this is you as well. So again, if there are issues or concerns, and you're more than welcome to call my office, send me an email, message me on social media directly, please. and we are responding, and we are seeing more people complying and politely choosing to do so, as opposed to being confrontational than not. All right, is there any further business to come before the council this evening? Bill Carpenter.
Brian, can you send out the budget meetings for the next couple of weeks so we know exactly? Again, I forgot to write those down. Dates and times on that.
Yeah, let me.
You get a chance. I mean, it doesn't have to be now. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm trying to remember where.
I think it was the 9th and the 11th. It's in the agenda for the last meeting, the one that I missed.
I think it's the 9th and the 12th.
Yeah.
I believe
Yes, the 11th is Veterans Day, so we pushed it to 6:30 on the 12th and 6:30 on the 9th. So November 9th, November 12th, 6:30. If there are any special requests from council in terms of format or information that you would like to see, please let me know beforehand, and I'll start arranging. We'll have department heads and schedules done for departments with regard to which date they will be present. So let me know if there's anything specifically that you would like to see.
Did you say 6:30 there?
What'd I say again?
6:30.
9th and 12th.
I don't know if anybody else can relate, but I could not remember.
Thanks, Brian.
Any further business? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And at this point, we can entertain a motion to adjourn. Scott McCarthy, second. Bill Carpenter. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned. And remember, love never fails. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Aye, sir.
Right.